Hi, my name is Tara Caterman, and today I'm going to be sharing a short presentation on Richard C. Anderson, educational psychologist. Dr. Anderson began his secondary education at Harvard University. He earned his bachelor's degree in American history in 1956 and immediately followed that with a master's in social science education in 1957. Again, motivated as he was, he continued his education at Harvard, earning his doctorate in educational psychology in 1960. Dr. Anderson has worked in many places in his career, beginning his work at Harvard following graduating there with his doctorates. He also worked at New York University, Rutgers, and was an assistant superintendent for the New Jersey public school system. He has been a professor at the University of Illinois since 1963 and is still currently a professor there to this day. He became a member of the National Academy of Education in 1971 and again is still a present member. In 1976, he founded the Center for the Study of Reading and is also the director of there as of today. A few other accomplishments for Dr. Anderson is he was the president of the American Educational Research Association, also known as ERA. He was also the chairman of the National Academy of Education, National Institute of Education Reading Commission, and these are just a few of the many organizations that Dr. Anderson is a part of. A little bit more background on Dr. Anderson. He has received numerous awards in his lifetime, more than I can list here, but just to name a few, he's earned several from ERA, from the organization he is also a part of. The Palmer O. Johnson Award was awarded to him for Outstanding Educational Research Paper. The Sylvia Schreibner Award was for significant advances in the understanding of learning and instruction. And the ERA's Distinguished Contributions to Educational Research Award is also a huge accomplishment for Dr. Anderson. The Oscar O. Causey Award from the National Reading Conference for Career-Long Excellence in Reading Research. He earned the William S. Gray Citation of Merit, which is the highest honor of the International Reading Association. And finally, the Edward L. Thorndike Award from the American Psychological Association was earned for distinguished contributions to the psychological study of education. Again, these are just a few of the many awards that Dr. Anderson has earned himself. As far as Dr. Anderson's philosophy and theoretical perspective, he is considered to be a constructivist. I think I skipped a slide. I did. I apologize. I skipped a slide. Dr. Anderson's important works, according to Reading Hall of Fame, include 250 published books and articles. There were so many, there was no way I could fit them on this slide, so I just picked out a few that were listed under Reading Hall of Fame. One of the most important ones that I noted was Becoming a Nation of Readers, which was noted as being the most widely read book of all time in the field of literacy. Another book that I saw was Educational Psychology, The Science of Instruction and Learning, which he wrote with Gerald S. Faust. A few of the articles listed here, all again found on Reading Hall of Fame. You can look at those articles on your own by clicking on the link in the reference list. The first one, Instructional Influences on English Language Learners and Storytelling, was a 6-week socio-scientific unit involving collaborative group work or direct instruction. There was a control class in which the teacher was given instructions to teach students regularly with her normal routines. And then in the other group, the students were told a story and prompted by wordless picture books, but were asked to work collaboratively with groups. In the second one, Emergent Leadership in Children's Cooperative Problem-Solving Groups, participants were 252 fifth graders from 4 classes in a Mid-Eastern city in China. Prior to the cooperative problem-solving activity, students from 2 classes had 5 concurrent open-format, peer-managed small group discussions of stories, while the other 2 classes that were considered the control groups continued their regular instruction, and this information or data was then compared. In the third one, improving children's competence as decision makers, contrasting the effect of collaborative interaction and direct instruction, a total of 764 fifth graders, these were mostly African American and Hispanic students, from 36 classrooms across 8 public schools, including low-income schools, completed a 6-week unit on wolf management using either direct instruction or collaborative groups. The children's essays on the topic were analyzed. In the analysis, it was noted that students who participated in the collaborative group, but not students who received direct instruction, the students in the collaborative group actually revealed more information than the students who were working in the regular or control group. In the final one, children's productive use of academic vocabulary, students received a 6-week unit on vocabulary instruction and were again assessed based on the 2, the intervention and the control group. As far as Dr. Anderson's philosophy or theoretical perspective, he's considered to be part of a constructivist group or have a constructivist perspective. If you're not aware, a constructivist perspective is one in which they think active construction of knowledge occurs when a learner makes connections between new knowledge and their prior knowledge or background knowledge, known as schema. But this only occurs when they are actively engaged in the learning process. The schema theory, again, ties that idea in that background knowledge is crucial to the learning process and that the teacher or educator must activate that knowledge when in content reading in order to allow the students to make that new knowledge link with their prior knowledge. There are 3 major components to constructivism. They believe that the learning process happens internally, is not always able to be observed. The learner will use the hypothesis testing experience, like similar to predicting, when considering new concepts, vocabulary, and even solving problems. Also, inferencing is an important aspect of learning when the learner fills in the gaps in order to comprehend content. They also believe that learning is natural, that it's ongoing. Students are constantly engaging in new experiences throughout life, throughout learning, and they are building, reorganizing, and restructuring all of that information with what they already know or their schema or schemata. As Mr. Anderson's contributions to the field of literacy include his influential chapter that he wrote with Dr. Pearson on the schema theory regarding its reading process. He and Dr. Pearson expanded on John Dewey's concept of constructivism. They believe that schema for all content as well as reading processes and text structure is very important. Not only do the children learn new content and have to have background knowledge on the content they're learning, but we also need to activate their background knowledge on the different literacy skills that the students are learning, whether it is inferencing, vocabulary, perhaps decoding skills, learning how to skim while they're reading. This background knowledge is just as important as the content, and we are constantly developing, restructuring, and reorganizing that background knowledge. They are noted for developing and teaching strategies, including brainstorming and webbing. Brainstorming is used to activate prior background knowledge and to extend the student's learning even. As each student in the classroom shares more information, the other students are now linking that new information with what they already know as well. So as a whole classroom, you're activating the whole classroom knowledge as well as extending everyone's background knowledge. Brainstorming is usually just kind of jotting down ideas, whereas the concept of webbing is a little more organized. It's broken into categories. I'll show you an example of that in just a moment. Dr. Anderson is also well known for his study in peer collaboration and how that intensifies the learning opportunities students are able to achieve in the classroom. Some of his current research includes how classroom discussions affect the child's social and emotional and cognitive development. He's very interested in how students learn to read alphabetic and non-alphabetic languages in different countries even. As I mentioned before, he has traveled to China and worked very closely with their educators. He's also interested in vocabulary growth and development. Some classroom connections that you may already actually use in your classrooms include the web organizers we just focused on before. Again, web organizers are much more organized than just plain brainstorming because we use this graphic organizer. The center circle usually is the focus, and all the branches on it are related things to that specific topic. Also for activating prior knowledge are great KWL charts. These are great for anticipating and before and after reading, where you ask the students what they already know about the topic and engage them in questioning themselves what would they like to learn. And then when they're finished reading, they will then see if they have added to their knowledge, confirmed, revised their knowledge, or extended their learning. Brainstorming again, and I also put on here anticipation guides. Again, this is a before and after in which the students look at specific topics and determine if they have knowledge on it, yes or no, and then after they'll then readdress those topics and see if they change their thinking. Vocabulary development is also very important, as well as previewing text before reading with students. These are the references, and there's going to be an ed puzzle for you to do along with this activity that you will see shortly. Thank you.